Hi Booktube and welcome to a new video. This is the Oh, Just a Terrible Book Tag by Adrian over at Strict Covered Lit, and I'll put the link into the show notes. So, question 1. What is the worst book you've ever read for pleasure? It's a toss-up. I would probably go with Gillian Slovo's 10 Days, which is a book about the 2011 riots in England, which were very serious, and I think about 2,000 people were jailed over it, basically looting and criminal damage. And Slovo managed to produce a book which contained a single rioter, and he was portrayed saving someone from a burning building. Her book was set in the world of high politics. I mean, talk about missing the point. No wonder people don't understand the causes of knife crime in this country. 2. What is the worst book you've ever read for school? Jane Austen, Emma. Now, that's no reflection on Ms. Austen. I recognise that she is a supreme stylist, but it just didn't speak to me, and I struggled with that book. But that's me and not her. 3. Who is the worst writer ever? Well, I find this impossible to answer because if I've read an author and I really don't like their book, I'm not going to go back and read anything else. So I'm not going to go back to Ms. Slovo's books, for example. So I don't know who would hold the title of the worst writer ever. 4. Worst book to movie adaptation. All of them. I keep saying this, but no one's listening. Sort of movie producers and executives, go and pay your scriptwriters properly to come up with scripts that are genuinely rooted in the medium of films rather than sort of off the peg, novels that the film rights are bought before they've even been published, and then they just the scriptwriter just sort of churns out a sort of a movie script. Does no service to the film industry, and it does no service to novelists other than the ones who are successful in having their books adapted, get lots of money. So good luck to them. 5. What is your least favourite type of booktube video to film? Well, it's anything that has a vlog element to it, simply because I'm useless. I only have a little. I record most of my videos on the FaceTime on my laptop, which obviously I can't take around me when I'm doing vlogs, when I'm on the move. So I have this little Kodak video camera. It's sort of rectangular. It's about sort of that size, not even the sort of width of my finger. And it has a viewfinder, but you'd look bloody stupid because you'd have to hold it up like here, and it would like blot out sort of half of your face. So I'm always shooting from the hip. And when I really get sort of into my subject, I kind of forget to check where the position of the camera is. So, when I do a reading gig in a new city, I like to do a vlog on, walking around the city. I've done one in Paris, done in Newcastle. But there's lots of shots of people's knees and crotches because I've forgotten, I'm walking around, my arms swinging with holding the camera. It's, so I find them very hard. Also, the background noise can be a pain. Again, I don't have any kind of external microphone. What is your least favourite type of booktube video to watch? I'm not sure I have one really, because if there's a booktube trope that I don't like to watch, I probably wouldn't watch it, even if it was by a favourite one of mine. So for example, the Strip Cover Lit boys, when they do Harry Potter, I don't watch it. When they do poetry, I don't watch it. Just because I have no interest in those things. It's not a reflection on the Strip Cover Lit boys. 7. Worst book cover ever. I've no idea. I never even look at book covers. I'm not somebody who buys books by their cover. I will say though that Penguin have this awful tendency in their modern classics to have on the back where the blurb's in white calligraphy, and it's against a silver background, which makes it impossible to read. 8. What is the least fun you've ever had reading a book? Well, I can't think of a context of reading a book whereby the context made it sort of least fun. If you were if you got car sick and you were reading in the back of a car and you got sick, that wouldn't be much fun. But fortunately, I don't get car sick. I don't get in cars very often either. So Gillian Slovo's book and others weren't much fun. But so I can't really answer this question because I can't think of a context of reading a book, as I say, over and above where the context made it an even worse experience other than just being a bad book. 9. The last book you did not finish was Joseph McElroy's Ancient History, a Paraphase. And the word paraphase does not exist. Now, I'm all in favour of neologisms. I use them myself when I write, but that just seemed gratuitous. Tag some terrible booktubers and insult them. No, I'm not going to do that. I've already sent the tarantulas in the post to the booktubers that I want to hound. So what I'm going to do instead is I'm going to read my favourite... No, I'm not going to read. I'm going to... My favourite ever book review, which is, let's say, critical, in The Guardian. I'm not going to name the book. I will post a link in the show notes to this review. You can read it in full, and obviously you can get the name of the book and the author. Not to read, but just to give it some context. So this is the first line of the review. Reviewing someone's first novel, it is customary to be polite about it, to find things to praise in it. So let me say straight away that author, book title, is printed on very nice paper. The typeface is clear and readable, and Samantha Nundy's photograph of the author is in focus. And given that it's 773 pages long, the author has shown a commendable degree of application and spent a great deal of time on the project. Okay, so that's fairly cutting. When he's talking sort of specifically in his critique, this is about the dialogue. The women sound like the men sound like nothing on earth, and not one of them has a single thing to say other than how the tragedy of history is progressing. It's a brilliant review. It's very funny. I can't say it's the worst book I've ever read because I've not read the book, but I have read the review. So just for a hoot, I will post the link to that. So there you have it. I think Adrian uploaded this about 40 minutes ago. This is an instant response. So he did tag a load of people. So I do actually know who's been tagged because no one else would have had a chance to do this yet. But I'm too lazy to tag anyone, so I'm just going to throw it open to anyone who wants to do it. Okay, till next time.